The steam from the shower clouded the mirror as I stood under the hot water, letting it wash away the exhaustion of another grueling day at the office. I didn't hear the door creak open over the rush of the faucet, but suddenly, there she was, Sienna, my roommate of 6 months, frozen in the doorway with wide eyes and a towel in her hand. Before I could grab my robe or scream, she stepped forward, her voice trembling as she said, "Serenity, I can't hide this anymore. I love you, and seeing you like this just broke me." My heart slammed against my ribs like a trapped bird desperate for escape. How had I missed the signs? The lingering glances over morning coffee, the way she'd brush past me in our cramped New York apartment, her scent of vanilla and citrus clinging to the air long after she'd gone. But love? From Sienna, the confident graphic designer who'd moved in after answering my Craigslist ad. The one who'd turned our shared space into a haven of laughter and late-night talks? I wrapped the towel around myself, water dripping onto the tiled floor, and stared at her, my mind racing through 1,000 denials. "Sienna, what the hell? This isn't funny." Her face crumpled not with embarrassment, but with raw vulnerability, and in that moment, I felt the ground shift beneath me. The safe, platonic world we'd built cracking open to reveal something terrifying and undeniable. She didn't back down. Instead, she closed the door behind her, leaning against it as if to block any escape. "It's not a joke, Serenity. I've been fighting this since the day I moved in. You're straight, I know that, engaged to Mark, for God's sake. But every time I see you smile, or hear you laugh at my stupid jokes, it kills me a little more." Her words hung in the humid air, heavy with the weight of unspoken truths. I thought of Mark, my fiancé of 2 years, the steady accountant who'd proposed last Christmas with a ring that felt more like a shackle than a promise. Our relationship was comfortable, predictable, the kind my conservative parents in suburban Ohio approved of: church on Sundays, family dinners, the American dream wrapped in heteronormative bows. But here was Sienna, with her messy blonde hair and those hazel eyes that saw through my polished facade, offering something wild and forbidden. I sank onto the edge of the bathtub, my legs unsteady. Inside, a storm brewed. Guilt for the flicker of curiosity that sparked in my chest, fear of what this meant for my carefully constructed life. Had I been ignoring my own doubts? The nights I'd lie awake next to Mark, wondering why his touch felt obligatory rather than electric. Sienna knelt in front of me, her hands hovering but not touching. I didn't plan this. I was just coming in to grab my shampoo. But seeing you, it all came rushing out. Her voice cracked, and I saw the toll this confession had taken, the sleepless nights etched in the shadows under her eyes. Part of me wanted to bolt, to call Mark and reaffirm our future, but another part buried deep, whispered questions I'd never dared ask aloud. We sat there in silence for what felt like hours, the water cooling on my skin. Finally I whispered, "Why now? Why like this?" Sienna's laugh was bitter, self-deprecating. "Because I'm a coward. I've dated women before, but never fallen this hard. And you're everything I shouldn't want." Her words pierced me, stirring memories of my own hidden curiosities. Stolen glances at girls in college, dismissed as admiration. But admitting that would unravel everything. My engagement, my family's expectations, the societal script I'd followed without question. My parents, devout Catholics, had drilled into me the sanctity of traditional marriage. What would they say if their only daughter strayed? The thought sent a chill through me, colder than the air outside the steam. As the evening wore on, we moved to the living room, wrapped in robes, the awkwardness thickening like fog. Sienna poured us wine, her hands shaking. "I don't expect anything from you. Just know that it's real for me." I sipped the Merlot, letting its warmth loosen the knot in my throat. Internally I battled. Was this attraction mutual? Or just the thrill of the forbidden? Mark texted then, asking about dinner plans, and guilt flooded me. How could I face him now, with Sienna's confession echoing in my ears? That night, as I lay in bed, sleep evaded me. Sienna's door was closed, but her presence seeped through the walls, challenging every certainty I'd held. The next morning dawned gray over Manhattan, mirroring my turmoil. I avoided Sienna in the kitchen, mumbling about work as I grabbed coffee, but she cornered me by the door. "We can't pretend this didn't happen." Her eyes pleaded for understanding, and I felt the pull, the magnetic draw toward her honesty. "I need time," I said, fleeing to the subway. At the office, surrounded by spreadsheets and colleagues, my mind wandered. What if I explored this? The risk loomed large. Losing Mark, alienating my family, facing whispers at work. Yet, denying it felt like suffocating a part of myself I'd never acknowledged. Lunch with my best friend Emily offered no solace. She prattled about her wedding plans, and I envied her certainty. "What's wrong?" she asked, sensing my distraction. I lied. "Just wedding jitters." But inside, the confession replayed, igniting doubts about my sexuality. Was I bisexual, lesbian, or just confused? The labels terrified me, each carrying societal baggage. Back home, Sienna was out, giving me space. I called my mom, seeking normalcy. "How's Mark?" she asked eagerly. "Fine," I replied, the word tasting like ash. Hanging up, I realized the facade was cracking. That evening, Sienna returned with takeout and olive branch. We ate in tense silence until I broke it. "Tell me about your past relationships." She opened up, sharing stories of heartbreak from ex-girlfriends, the sting of homophobia in her southern hometown. Her vulnerability drew me in, making my own life seem shallow. As we talked late into the night, a connection sparked. Not just romantic but emotional. Yet fear held me back. What price would I pay for pursuing this? The thought of my parents' disapproval, their potential rejection, gnawed at me. Sienna sensed it. "I won't push you, but don't ignore what you feel." Her words lingered as I retreated to my room, the internal conflict raging like a wildfire. Days blurred into a haze of avoidance and stolen moments. Mark noticed my distance during our dates, attributing it to stress. "We'll be fine once we're married," he said, oblivious. But marriage now felt like a cage. Sienna and I danced around the tension, our conversations laced with unspoken desire. One night, after a fight with Mark over trivialities, I confided in her. "I don't know who I am anymore." She held my gaze. "Maybe it's time to find out." That simple statement ignited a spark, but doubt extinguished it. The societal pressure, expectations of a white picket fence, kids' stability, warred with my emerging truth. As the week ended, a family dinner loomed. My parents were visiting, eager to discuss wedding details. Panic set in. How could I hide this turmoil? Sienna offered support. "I'll be here when you get back." Her quiet strength contrasted my chaos, making the choice harder. Driving to the restaurant, I rehearsed normalcy, but inside questions swirled. Was love worth the upheaval? The dinner was a blur of small talk and forced smiles. My dad joked about grandkids and my mom's eyes sparkled with pride. Guilt twisted like a knife. That night back home, Sienna waited. "How was it?" she asked. "Suffocating," I admitted. In that vulnerability, our hands brushed, sending electricity through me. But I pulled away, the cost too high for now. The following weeks became a tightrope walk between denial and desire. Mark proposed a weekend getaway to rekindle our spark, but the idea filled me with dread. "It'll be good for us," he insisted, his optimism clashing with my inner storm. I agreed, hoping distance from Sienna would clarify things. Packing my bag, I caught her watching from the hallway, her expression a mix of hurt and resignation. "Have fun," she said flatly, turning away. Her pain mirrored mine, a silent accusation that I was running from the truth. On the drive to the Catskills cabin, Mark chatted about future plans, house, kids, the works. Each word tightened the noose around my neck. Why couldn't I want this? It was what I'd always planned, what society expected. At the cabin, surrounded by autumn leaves and crisp air, Mark's affections felt mechanical. We hiked, cooked, shared wine by the fire, but my mind drifted to Sienna. The way her laughter filled our apartment, her insights that challenged my views. That night, as Mark kissed me, I froze. "What's wrong?" he asked, concern etching his face. "Nothing," I lied, but the disconnect was palpable. Internally, I dissected my feelings. Was this just cold feet? Or something deeper? The guilt of betraying him, even in thought, weighed heavy. He deserved better than a fiancé questioning her orientation. Back in bed, sleep eluded me, haunted by Sienna's confession. Returning home, the apartment felt charged. Sienna was on the couch, sketching designs for work. "How was the trip?" she asked, her tone neutral but eyes searching. "Fine," I replied, echoing my lie to Mark. But she saw through it. "You looked miserable." Her directness cracked my armor. We talked for hours, delving into our pasts. She shared her coming-out story, the rejection from her family, the isolation in a small Georgia town. It hurt, but living authentically was worth it. Her words resonated, stirring envy and fear. My own family loomed like a shadow, their love conditional on my fitting their mold. Admitting attraction to Sienna meant risking that love. As days passed, the tension escalated. Mark sensed the shift, confronting me over dinner. "Are you having an affair?" His accusation stung, though technically untrue. "No," I said, but the omission felt like betrayal. Inside I agonized. Was emotional infidelity worse? That night I sought solace in Sienna. "He's suspicious." She nodded, her face pained. "Maybe you should tell him." The idea terrified me, ending a stable relationship for uncertainty. But ignoring my feelings was eroding my soul. We sat close, our knees touching, the air thick with possibility. Her hand grazed mine, and for a moment I didn't pull away. The warmth spread, awakening dormant parts of me. Work became my refuge, burying myself in projects to avoid decisions. But even there, whispers of change intruded. A colleague came out as gay, sharing his journey with pride. His story mirrored Sienna's, highlighting the freedom and truth. Yet, the risks, professional judgment, social ostracism loomed. Back home, Sienna pushed gently. "What do you want, Serenity?" Her question haunted me. I wanted her, but at what cost? My parents called, excited about bridal shower plans. Their enthusiasm clashed with my turmoil, amplifying the moral dilemma. Was pursuing happiness selfish if it hurt others? A turning point came during a stormy evening. Mark showed up unannounced, flowers in hand. "Let's fix this." But Sienna was there, and the awkwardness was electric. He eyed her suspiciously. "Am I interrupting?" The air crackled with unspoken accusations. After he left, frustrated by my vagueness, Sienna exploded. "You can't keep stringing him along. It's cruel." Her words hit like thunder, forcing me to confront my indecision. "I'm scared," I admitted, tears flowing. She pulled me into a hug, her embrace comforting yet charged. In that moment the dam broke. I kissed her softly, a tentative exploration. Felt right, natural, but panic followed. What had I done? The kiss lingered in my mind, a catalyst for chaos. Mark texted relentlessly, demanding answers. I ignored him, wrestling with guilt. Sienna gave me space, but her presence was a constant reminder. Internally I debated. Was this love or infatuation? The societal backlash terrified me. Labels like cheater or confused. My family would see it as a moral failing, perhaps disown me. Yet, denying it meant a lifetime of regret. A late-night call from my sister amplified the pressure. "Mom's so excited about the wedding. Don't mess this up." Her words fueled my doubt, making the choice feel like betrayal. As the month wore on, cracks widened. Mark confronted me at work, his face etched with hurt. "Is there someone else?" The truth hovered on my lips, but I deflected. "I need time." He stormed off, leaving me shattered. Back home, Sienna waited. "You have to choose." Her ultimatum, though gentle, forced the issue. That night I lay awake, tracing the path of my life. The safe road with Mark promised stability but emptiness. The uncertain one with Sienna offered passion but peril. The moral quandary gnawed. Was breaking hearts justified for self-discovery? Friends noticed my withdrawal. Emily probed during coffee. "Spill it." I confessed partially, doubts about Mark. She sympathized but warned, "Don't throw away a good thing." Her advice echoed societal norms, ignoring my inner truth. Sienna, meanwhile, shared her fears. "If you choose him, I'll move out." The thought of losing her twisted my gut. Our conversations deepened, revealing shared dreams and vulnerabilities. Yet, the external pressures mounted. A family gathering approached, where I'd have to play the happy fiancé. The day arrived, a barbecue at my aunt's in New Jersey. Surrounded by relatives, I faked smiles while Mark hovered protectively. Questions about the wedding flew, each one a dagger. Inside I screamed for escape. Sienna texted, "Be true to yourself." Her words fueled resolve, but fear paralyzed me. That evening, driving back, Mark proposed counseling. "We can work through this." His desperation mirrored my own conflict. Home alone, Sienna out with friends, I pondered the sacrifices. Loving her meant appending my world, but denying it meant living a lie. The confrontation with Mark couldn't be delayed forever. He showed up the next evening, determination in his eyes. "We need to talk." Sienna excused herself, leaving us in the living room thick with tension. "What's really going on?" he demanded. My heart pounded as I confessed, "I'm confused about us, about everything." His face fell, suspicion dawning. "Is it Sienna?" The name hung like a bomb. I nodded, tears streaming. "I think I have feelings for her." Shock rippled across his features, followed by anger. "You're gay? After 2 years?" His words stung, reducing my turmoil to a label. Internally I reeled. Was it that simple? The betrayal in his eyes mirrored my self-reproach. He paced, voice rising. "How long has this been going on?" I explained the confession, the kiss, omitting details to spare him. But honesty unleashed his fury. "You cheated on me with your roommate?" The accusation burned, though emotional more than physical. Guilt consumed me. I'd led him on, prioritizing my confusion over his heart. He stormed out, slamming the door, leaving silence in his wake. Sienna returned, finding me curled on the couch. "What happened?" I recounted, sobbing. She held me, her comfort a double-edged sword. Solace amid the wreckage I'd caused. The fallout spread like wildfire. Mark called my parents, spilling everything in a fit of rage. My phone exploded with messages. Mom's disbelief, Dad's anger. "How could you do this to us?" Mom cried during our call. "We raised you better." Their words echoed childhood sermons on sin and family values. The societal judgment hit hard, whispers of phase or influence. Inside I questioned my choices. Was this worth the pain? Sienna's support anchored me, but her own scars resurfaced. "My family cut me off when I came out. It hurts, but you survive." Friends divided. Emily sided with Mark, calling my actions selfish. "You had a good life, why ruin it?" Her judgment amplified my doubts, making me wonder if I'd been swayed by proximity rather than true feelings. Others, like my liberal coworker, offered encouragement. "Live your truth." But the internal battle raged. Morality versus desire. Loving Sienna felt right, but the damage to others weighed heavy. We navigated the awkwardness of our new dynamic, tentative dates, stolen moments, but guilt shadowed every joy. A family intervention loomed. My parents drove to New York, faces stern. "We need to talk sense into you." The meeting was tense, accusations flying. Dad thundered about eternal damnation. Mom pleaded for reconciliation with Mark. "He's a good man." Their love felt conditional, tied to conformity. I defended my feelings, voice shaking. "This is who I am." Sienna waited outside, her presence a silent strength. The argument escalated, ending in tears and ultimatums. "Choose us or this lifestyle." The word lifestyle stung, reducing my identity to a choice. Walking out, I felt liberated yet orphaned. Sienna and I grew closer amid the chaos. We explored the city, sharing dreams under starlit skies. But external pressures mounted. At work, rumors spread after Mark's bitter posts online. Colleagues whispered, judgments veiled as concern. "Are you sure?" one asked. The societal bias against queer relationships hit home, amplifying isolation. Internally, I grappled with ethics. Had I betrayed Mark's trust irreparably? Sienna shared her own regrets. Past relationships ended by fear. "Don't let them win," she urged. A betrayal came from an unexpected quarter. Emily, my supposed friend, leaked details to my extended family, fueling gossip. "She's throwing her life away," aunts clucked. The hurt cut deep, eroding trust. Sienna confronted her own demons, admitting fears of abandonment. "What if you go back to him?" Her vulnerability mirrored mine, strengthening our bond. We decided to move forward, but the path was mined with obstacles. My parents cut financial support, a petty blow that forced practicality. As winter set in, tensions peaked. Mark sued for the ring's return, a vindictive move that dragged us into mediation. Facing him across the table, his hurt palpable, guilt surged. "You destroyed me," he said. I apologized, but words fell short. The settlement left scars, a reminder of the cost. Sienna supported me through it, but strains appeared. "Is this too much?" I asked. She shook her head, but doubt lingered. Internally, I weighed the sacrifices. Lost family ties, fractured friendships, emotional toll. A moment of awakening came during a quiet evening. Sienna and I cooked dinner, laughter cutting through the gloom. In her eyes, I saw a future worth fighting for. But reality intruded, a call from my sister offering olive branches. Mom misses you. The temptation to reconcile tugged, but at what price? Denying Sienna? The moral dilemma sharpened. Loyalty to self versus family. We attended a support group for queer women, hearing stories of resilience. It bolstered me, highlighting the broader societal fight against prejudice. Yet, cracks in our relationship emerged. Sienna's impatience with my lingering doubts led to arguments. You have to commit fully. Her words echoed my fears of inadequacy. One night, after a heated fight, I wandered the streets questioning everything. Was this love or rebellion? The cold air cleared my head, revealing the truth. I'd chosen this path and retreating meant defeat. Returning home, I found Sienna waiting, apologies exchanged. The reconciliation deepened our connection, but the external world loomed. The new year brought tentative hope, but drama intensified. My parents reached out, proposing therapy to fix me. The suggestion offended, reinforcing their denial. It's not a phase, I retorted during a strained call. Dad's silence spoke volumes, his disappointment a heavy burden. Sienna encouraged resistance. You don't need fixing. Her steadfastness contrasted their bigotry, but internal conflict persisted. Could I bridge the gap without compromising myself? Society's lens amplified the divide. Media stories of queer rejection mirrored my plight, fueling anger and resolve. Work challenges arose. A promotion hinged on professional image, code for conformity. Whispers about my lifestyle jeopardized it. Confronting my boss, I asserted. My personal life doesn't affect my work. He backpedaled, but the bias lingered. Sienna faced similar at her firm. Clients withdrawing after learning of her orientation. It's exhausting, she confessed. Our shared struggles bonded us, but resentment brewed. Why must we fight for acceptance? The moral quandary deepened. Was visibility worth the professional sacrifice? A shocking betrayal unfolded. Mark, in a drunken rage, outed me on social media, tagging family and friends. The post went viral in our circles, unleashing a torrent of judgment. Strangers commented, labeling me homewrecker or confused. Panic set in. Privacy shattered, reputation tarnished. Sienna rallied, helping delete and block, but damage was done. Internally, fury mixed with pity. His pain drove this, but at my expense. We lawyered up, seeking removal, but the emotional toll mounted. Family fallout escalated. My cousin, once close, disinvited me from her wedding. We don't want drama. The rejection stung, highlighting societal hypocrisy. Love celebrated only if straight. Sienna's family, estranged for years, offered ironic support via email. Hang in there. It bolstered her, but envy stirred in me. Why couldn't mine evolve? Debates raged internally. Forgiveness versus boundaries. A therapy session helped unpacking childhood conditioning. You're not broken, the counselor affirmed. Our relationship tested under pressure. Arguments flared over handling the chaos. Sienna advocated confrontation. I preferred caution. We can't hide, she insisted. Her passion inspired, but fear held me back. One explosive fight ended with her storming out. Alone, I reflected. Was this sustainable? The cost, emotional exhaustion, lost connections weighed heavy. She returned hours later, apologetic. I love you too much to lose you. The makeup strengthened us, revealing depths of commitment. A pivotal moment arrived at a pride event. Surrounded by allies, I felt empowered. Sienna's hand in mine symbolized defiance. But spotting a former friend judging from afar reignited doubts. Later, we discussed future marriage, kids, dreams once reserved for Mark. The irony twisted. Society accepted those with him, not her. Moral debates ensued. Challenge norms or conform? We chose the former, planning a small commitment ceremony despite backlash. Parents' response was predictable, disownment threats. Mom's letter arrived, pleading return to right path. Tears flowed as I read, nostalgia clashing with reality. Sienna comforted, sharing her healing journey. Time helps. But impatience grew. Internally, I mourned the lost ideal family, questioning if my choices were selfish. Friends' support varied. Some distanced, others embraced. Emily apologized, admitting bias. The reconciliation offered hope amid fractures. As spring bloomed, resolution neared. Mark settled privately, remorse evident. I was hurt, he admitted. Forgiveness came slowly, a step toward closure. Work stabilized, promotion granted after advocacy. Sienna's career rebounded, clients returning. Our bond solidified, weathering storms. Yet lingering shadows remained. Family silence, societal stares. A weekend retreat allowed reflection. We've paid dearly, Sienna said. Indeed, the toll. Broken hearts, lost ties, self-doubt. But growth emerged, authenticity's reward. Tensions resurfaced with a family emergency. Dad's heart scare prompted a visit. Hospital bedside, emotions raw. I love you, but I don't understand, he whispered. Mom echoed, tears flowing. The vulnerability cracked walls. I shared my happiness with Sienna, pleading acceptance. They listened at first. No instant change, but seeds planted. Returning home, hope flickered. Had the sacrifices paved reconciliation? The months following Dad's scare brought fragile progress. Phone calls with my parents shifted from accusations to awkward inquiries. How's Sienna? Mom asked tentatively, the name a concession. Dad grumbled but listened as I shared our life. Mundane joys like cooking together, weekend hikes. Society's evolution helped. News of queer rights advancements mirrored our microcosm. Yet internal scars lingered. The betrayal's sting, the moral weight of choices. Had I been right to append lives for love? Sienna and I navigated normalcy, but undercurrents of doubt persisted. A double date with accepting friends highlighted contrasts, their ease versus our vigilance. Why can't it be simple? I vented later. She sighed. Because change is hard. Her wisdom grounded me, but fears of regression haunted. What if family pressure swayed me? The ethical dilemma evolved. Balance self with empathy for others' pain. A reunion tested resolve. My sister's baby shower invited us both. A olive branch.
Nerve j'engueule en route.
If it's too much, we leave, Sienna assured. Arriving, whispers hushed, but Mom hugged tightly. Dad nodded stiffly. Interactions were polite, questions veiled. You look happy, an aunt said genuinely. The acceptance, partial, warmed. But undercurrents surfaced, subtle digs about phases. Internally, anger flared. Why diminish our love? Sienna squeezed my hand, a anchor. The event culminated in a private talk with parents. We're trying, Mom admitted. Dad confessed fears rooted in upbringing. I don't want to lose you. Tears flowed, bridges mending. No full embrace, but progress. Driving home, relief washed over. Sacrifices bore fruit. Family ties strained but intact. Sienna smiled. See? Worth it. Her optimism contrasted my caution, but hope grew. Work and social circles adapted. Colleagues celebrated our anniversary subtly, normalizing us. Friends like Emily fully supported, regretting past judgments. Mark moved on, dating anew, a closure. Yet societal remnants persisted. Stares in public, online trolls. We advocated, joining groups, turning pain to purpose. Internally, I reflected. The journey's cost, heartbreak, isolation forged strength. Was it justified? As summer waned, we planned a trip. Our first as a committed couple. Packing, I pondered the path. From shocking confession to hard-won peace. Betrayals healed, damages mended. But questions lingered. Did the ends justify the means? The drama's intensity faded, replaced by quiet contentment. Sienna's love, once forbidden, now my foundation. In quiet moments, doubts whispered. What if I'd chosen differently? Stability with Mark, family harmony, but at self-suppression's price. The moral ambiguity persisted, choices debatable. We'd face confrontations, paid dearly, awakened to truths. But was it right? The months following Dad's scare brought fragile progress. Each step a tentative dance toward understanding. Phone calls with my parents shifted from heated accusations to more awkward, probing inquiries about our daily lives. How's Sienna doing at work? Mom would ask, her voice laced with a mix of curiosity and reluctance, as if saying the name was a small victory over her ingrained beliefs. Dad, ever the stoic one, grumbled in the background but occasionally chimed in with questions about the apartment or the city, steering clear of anything too personal. It was far from perfect, but it was something. A crack in the wall of disapproval that had seemed impenetrable. Society's slow evolution played a role too. Headlines about queer rights advancements, celebrity coming-outs, and shifting public opinions mirrored the microcosm of our family drama, giving me hope that change was possible, even if painstaking. Yet, the internal scars from the whirlwind of events lingered like faint bruises that ached on rainy days. I often found myself replaying the betrayals, Mark's public outing, Emily's initial judgment, the family's ultimatums, and questioning the moral weight of my choices. Had I been too hasty, too selfish in pursuing this path? The drama had been intense, a relentless storm of emotions, but now in the calmer aftermath I weighed the scales. The pain inflicted versus the authenticity gained. Sienna and I had navigated it together, our bond tested and ultimately fortified. But I couldn't shake the nagging doubt that perhaps there had been a less destructive way. Sienna and I began to settle into a semblance of normalcy, but undercurrents of doubt and vigilance persisted in our relationship. We went on double dates with a couple of accepting friends from her work circle, laughing over shared meals and stories, but I couldn't help noticing the effortless ease they exuded compared to our constant awareness of potential judgment. Why can't it be this simple for us all the time? I vented to Sienna one night as we walked home under the city lights. She slipped her arm around my waist, pulling me close. Because real change is hard, and we're the ones pushing the boundaries. But look how far we've come. Her optimism was a bomb, contrasting my lingering caution, but deep down fears of regression haunted me. What if the family's fragile acceptance crumbled under pressure? What if I wavered, tempted by the allure of a less complicated life? The true test of our progress came with an unexpected invitation to my sister's baby shower. It was addressed to both of us, a deliberate olive branch that carried the weight of potential reconciliation or renewed conflict. My nerves jangled like loose change in my pocket as we drove to the suburban venue in Ohio. If it's too much at any point we can leave, no questions asked, Sienna assured me, her hand steady on the wheel. Arriving, the air was thick with the scent of fresh-cut flowers and catered food, but the real tension lay in the hushed whispers that fell silent as we entered. Mom enveloped me in a hug that lingered a beat too long, her eyes misty. Dad nodded stiffly, his handshake with Sienna brief but civil. The interactions throughout the afternoon were polite, almost scripted, questions about our jobs, the weather in New York, carefully avoiding the elephant in the room. You look happy, Serenity, my aunt said at one point, her tone genuine as she glanced between Sienna and me. It was a small affirmation, but it warmed me from the inside, a reminder that not all family ties were severed. Yet undercurrents of discomfort surfaced in subtle digs. A cousin's comment about phases people go through, or an uncle's joke about traditional families. Internally, anger flared hot and quick. Why did they feel entitled to diminish our love, to treat it as a temporary aberration rather than a valid reality? Sienna must have sensed my rising tension because she squeezed my hand under the table, her touch a silent anchor grounding me in the moment. The event culminated in a private conversation with my parents in a quiet corner of the backyard, away from the chatter. We're trying to understand, Mom admitted, her voice trembling as she twisted a napkin in her hands. Dad confessed his own fears, rooted in a lifetime of rigid upbringing and church teachings. I don't want to lose my daughter over this. The vulnerability in his words cracked the walls we'd all built, leading to tears and halting apologies. There was no magical resolution, no tearful group hug declaring full acceptance, but seeds were planted, promises to keep talking, to visit without agendas. Driving back to New York, a wave of relief washed over me, mingled with cautious optimism. The sacrifices we'd made, the broken engagements, the fractured friendships, the emotional battles, were beginning to bear fruit, with family ties strained but not irreparably broken. Sienna turned to me with a soft smile as the highway lights flickered by. See? It was worth every bit of the fight. Her words echoed my growing hope, though I still approached it with measured steps. Back in the city, our lives stabilized further. At work, colleagues who once whispered now celebrated small milestones, like our one-year anniversary, with subtle nods of support, helping to normalize what had once felt revolutionary. Friends like Emily had come full circle, apologizing for her initial biases and actively educating herself, turning past rifts into stronger alliances. Even Mark had moved on, dating someone new and sending a brief message of well wishes, a final closure that lifted a lingering weight. Yet, remnants of societal prejudice persisted. The occasional stare in public, the troll comments on social media, the subtle exclusions from certain circles. We channeled that energy into advocacy, joining local support groups and volunteering for queer rights organizations, transforming personal pain into broader purpose. Internally, I spent quiet evenings reflecting on the journey, from that shocking bathroom confession to this hard-won peace. The betrayals had healed, the damages mended to the extent possible, but questions inevitably lingered. Did the ends truly justify the means? The drama's intensity had faded, replaced by a quiet, everyday contentment that felt more profound than any scripted happily ever after. In those reflective moments, doubts would sometimes whisper like ghosts. What if I'd chosen differently, opting for the stability with Mark, the unbroken family harmony, but at the price of suppressing my true self? The moral ambiguity of it all persisted, with choices that remained open to debate even in hindsight. We'd faced relentless confrontations, paid dearly in emotional currency, and ultimately awakened to deeper truths about love, identity, and resilience. But was it the right path or merely the one taken?